Hey, this is Mike from Intro Stars. We're very excited to bring you a brand new episode of our podcast, The Super Connectors, with a very special VIP guest today, Colleen, the Super Connector. Hey, Colleen.
Hi, Mike. So nice to see you. Thank you so much for inviting me today.
Such a pleasure to have you here. Can you tell us a bit more about what you're working on and what it means for you to be a Super Connector?
Absolutely. So yeah, I've been living all over the world. I've been living in 3 continents, have traveled to 5. I've had roles such as CEO, COO, founder, entrepreneur, networker, obviously, super connector. I have done a lot of different things over my career, including coaching, being an athlete.
Wow.
So now I'm doing a few things. So I'm doing some consulting. I'm also working on some other side projects, also coaching entrepreneurs, which I love, and always connecting people.
And so what does it mean for you to be a super connector? Was there like a pivotal moment in your life where you realized, oh, I love connecting people. This is me, this is my vocation. I'm now a super connector. What does it mean for you?
So for me, I think I came out the womb this way, Mike. I honestly, I just, from a really young age, my mom always used to say, if you had $1 for every person you connected, you'd be, the rest of the story. So I honestly think I've been thinking about this a little bit more in hindsight. And if I look back to high school, for example, I was friends with everybody. I didn't just have my one group. I was friends. I was an athlete. I was friends with the athletes. I was a singer. I was friends with the singers. I was friends with everybody. And I think part of that is I love people and I love helping people. So to me, just the next iteration of that relationship is connecting people.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
I think I don't think there was like one pivotal moment. It just kind of has always been there. And then I would say it just has evolved over time from, friendships to more professional things as well now.
And nowadays, what kind of introductions do you make typically in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, so it really depends if I'm doing it more in-house, within a corporate setting, or in more of a coaching setting on a personal one-to-one basis. So I'm on a board, for example, and we'll sit at a board meeting and we'll need to solve a problem. Yeah. Well, one of the ways we might need to solve that problem is by connecting with somebody else. Yeah. We often go around the board and say, who do you know? Well, I find with my connections, I'm either know that person or I'm one person away from knowing that person. Yeah. And then I say, hey, I'm happy to take that on board. Let me reach out. Let me make that connection. So that's kind of an in-house example of how I use my connections and my network that I pride myself on and I adore. Yep. But then also in a coaching perspective where I work with individuals one-on-one and maybe they're trying to look for a job or maybe they're trying to meet someone. I'm very happy then to make those introductions as well.
Cool. And so how do you value those connections? Do you have like a special method when you go networking, when you connect to people? What is your approach to networking and connecting people?
Yeah, I think firstly, it's more organic. So I'm very much on quality versus quantity. Yeah. I care about the person and I have to get on with them. If you're a good person and I meet you, then we're going to stay connected and there's kind of a natural evolution to that. The other thing, one of the things I do naturally is I host. I love hosting. And I think this is another talent and natural skill for connectors. So I often will have dinner parties at my house. I often curate them. So I know, let's say I want these 10 people in the room because I just know what they're going to build and be able to create by getting to know each other.
Wow,
so amazing. Things like that. Yeah. So I don't know. There's always different ways that you're connecting. And I've hosted larger events. So 15 years ago, I really got more into a niche of connecting. Yep. And that was really women focused. So as a woman, I love connecting women. I always want to champion other women. Yep. So I formed a group. We called it the Ladies Entrepreneurial Dinner Group.
Nice.
And we'd meet once a month. There would be 8 of us. And they were entrepreneurs. And we'd all help each other be successful, solve problems. And on the back of that, I put together events where we invited everybody, men, women, entrepreneurs, financial people, everyone could come. And there would be up to 100 people in attendance. And then you can network and meet some other people that you can collaborate with.
Cool, that's really good. And so how do you keep track of all these introductions? Do you have like a system? Do you have a tool? Like, how do you actually remember all the introductions you've made? What's your system?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of people that have worked in sales have their own little techniques.
Yeah.
I definitely use my phone. I definitely use my contacts.
Yeah.
I put notes into the contacts. I will also, if I meet someone, I'll text them, and I'll text them immediately where I met you, how I met you, who we met through, because there's this reality. I might not connect with them for a year,
Yeah,
and then I have to quickly meet, remember all of their points. So there's a combination. I know you and I have talked about LinkedIn in the past.
I use LinkedIn all the time.
Mike, you're a huge LinkedIn guy. I love LinkedIn too, but because I don't always meet people professionally in a LinkedIn capacity, I also use the combination of LinkedIn and just my normal contacts.
Okay, and obviously you want to help people, you love to connect people, you want to create value around you, but sometimes you have to monetize somehow, one way or the other. So how do you walk that fine line between building trust and relationships and helping people, but also monetizing? Like how do you bring that balance together?
That's hard. I don't think it's easy. So I look at it in two different ways. One is that in-house way that you do it. So whether you are in the sales role or you're in a business development role, or as the example I gave before, a board member, I think there's ways that I do that where I'm already being compensated.
Yeah.
So I'm already being compensated for the skill and I would say talent of making connections.
Yeah.
I think that's a way that everyone, if they're looking to be a connector, it's always a great way to start out that way. Have a sales job, business development job, and learn really how to connect and really maintain those relationships. Then you have the other side, which is not the in-house side. It's you're on your own side. So that one's a little bit harder because especially there's a fine line with friendships. So there are certain friends that, I made a connection the other day and in the design world. And this was with a friend who I play field hockey with and a neighbor of mine. And, I would never in a zillion years expect or want anything in return because I get so much joy just out of making that connection. Now, if it's a little bit more on the professional side of things, this is where I work directly with individuals, coaching and executive coaching them and kind of getting them ready, or a lot of it's relationship based. That's a little bit different. So then you are kind of compensating me for my time and the connections that naturally come within that time that I'm giving you.
Yeah, so I really see, as you just mentioned, different types of introductions using different means of monetization. So if you're just helping a neighbor, a friend, you just want to help, you want nothing in return, that's fine for day to day, just be you, being a super connector, doing what you do for love and for helping others. But then there's the other type of relationship or introduction where you're talking about connecting a service provider, selling a product or a service to a potential big customer for like a 50 grand or 100 grand deal. And that's a very different type of introduction. And that's where, of course, platforms like IntroStars can be used to track those introductions and guarantee you get paid if a deal comes out of it 6 months later, for example. So how do you see that changing the game for you as a super connector, but also for other super connectors out there?
To me, this is one of the things I love about IntroStars, Mike, is because this has changed the game for a lot of people like myself that just really value their communities that they've built now over years and decades of their lives. I have made mistakes in not always monetizing correctly, or let's be honest, I've gotten screwed, right? Where I have made a really valuable introduction, even there's commission-based associated with it, contract signed, and not seen those checks come in the door. So I'm a real big fan of sites like IntroStars, and really you're unique. I don't know that there's anyone else out there like you doing this that can help people like myself not make those mistakes. Now, I don't think I'll make those mistakes now. I've learned, but if you're starting out and you don't know about the contracts and the legal parts of making sure that time and connection is valued, IntroStars is the perfect place to go. And I'll say now, even as I expand what I'm doing and do a little bit more on the side with my connections, I definitely look to IntroStars to help me with that too.
Perfect, yeah. And that's really what we're trying to solve, is to make sure people don't get screwed over. And actually, people do respect prior engagements. Working with introductions is always a bit of a touchy area.
Yeah, it is
because
hard.
It's about people.
It is. But I'm a little bit old school in that, if you burn me, I'm never going to work with you again. And then we've lost a potential really valuable relationship professionally.
Exactly. So, everything is reputation. In the business world, your reputation is worth everything. And so really, we're trying to focus on that reputation first and foremost, every time we make an introduction,
Absolutely.
Because your reputation is not always on the line. If it's a bad introduction, it can damage your reputation. But if it's a good introduction, it actually improves your reputation.
Yeah.
It goes either way, right?
Definitely. And I think just like yourself, we qualify, we're sensitive, we're conscious about who we introduce, when we introduce. Sometimes we handhold more than others. Sometimes we're making phone calls, text messages, emails. There's different ways. Sometimes we say, hey, let's all meet together for a coffee.
Yeah.
We're doing this first introduction in person because we need to make sure it goes well and that everyone understands the intention of the connection.
Yeah.
And the value that it brings.
And the trust you bring because they know you, right?
Absolutely.
I love it. Cool. Do you see any trends in networking or connecting people or business relationships? And how does that affect your approach to networking and connections?
Yeah, I do think, obviously, with platforms and apps, there's a lot more apps out there now that are allowing connections to be easier and faster, and you can find your niche easier now with the apps that are out there. So it's a matter of figuring out if there is a world you want to be a niche in or a generalist. I think those are very different places. For example, there is an app in a members club called Fiena, which is a women's professional network. I joined partially because I'm a woman and I professionally always want to connect with other women, and that's an app. They have events, they have ways to do this. It makes it so much easier for me in connecting and finding those connections that I align with by using apps like theirs, but even others as well.
Yeah. And so do you have any specific advice you'd give to people who are starting their networking journey, who are starting to go to networking events, they're still a bit lost? Like any advice on introductions, networking, anything you could tell to the next generation of super connectors out there?
Well, the first is just be genuine, be you, don't be fake. I don't think that's ever going to get you very far in life. I think be who you are. Have opinions, have values, know who you are, know what you stand for. You naturally will find people that align with that, and I think that's the fastest, easiest base to then start growing your network and connecting. The other thing I'll say is make sure you know them well enough to know how do you add value. What do you bring to the table specifically for that person? And if you know that, then it doesn't mean that you have to be a connector for them today or tomorrow. It might be the perfect person 2 years from now. And if you genuinely connected with them and you genuinely know them, then you're going to have the perfect person 2 years from now. You're going to remember that.
So it's all about building for the future, building your network for the next 5, 10 years. It's not for right away. And give first, be authentic, be genuine, all these things. Perfect.
Absolutely.
So Colleen, what are you working on right now and how can people find out about it? Where can people follow you?
So I am about to launch a website called Coaching Leaders Global, where I have been coaching executively for a while now, but I decided I really needed to launch a website and make it a little bit more branded and official. So that would be the best place for anyone to connect with me and learn more about how I might be able to help them grow as a person within their organization or what they're looking to do in life.
Amazing. Do you attend any regular networking events where people could find you or run into you?
I would say no, I don't. I really do ad hoc. I think I also get a lot of invitations. I know you might get the most invitations of anyone I know.
I've sent you quite a few.
Yes, I know, which I love. And I try to be a yes person in general because this is what I love. And I love just literally meeting people. But I also am not always here. I was away last week for a week. I'll be away again traveling for some work reasons next month. So I can't always, I'd say, like make a monthly happen always or something like that. But I definitely make my circuits known. I do, if anything, I'm in the tech space the most. Startup tech space is kind of my sweet spot. FinTech, financial markets, those things. Okay,
so if I run into you at a networking event, I'll be very lucky. It'll be one of these rare occasions where I get to see you in action.
It might be. It might be. I know. I even, you know, you, Mike. I talked to the person I sat next to on the plane, and the person I sat next to on the plane, we had two mutual connections.
Bam. There you go.
So that is just the way I love, and I can't help but talk to the person next to me on the plane. So,
amazing. Well, Colleen, I can't wait to work the room with you at some point.
I can't
if we run
wait
into each other at the networking event.
Yes, well, we do. We already ran into each other many times.
Many times, yeah. Great. Well, I really enjoyed our conversation today. Thank you so much, Colleen, for taking the time. And thank you so much for your pearls of wisdom for our viewers and listeners. So I hope to run into you very soon. Have a good one.
Mike, thank you so much for taking the time, and I really appreciate it.
Great. Thanks, Colleen. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.